Well, here we are again. We're doing this Let's Work thing. I appreciate you joining me today. And I hope you are ready to do some work. Now, if it's your first time here, then you should probably go back and watch the first one, which admittedly is not going to be as good as this one. But I mean, that's the whole goal in life, right? Is to continually be improving, make each one better than the last. There's your Monday motivation for you right there. But honestly, I did some good work in the last one. I'd love it if you checked it out. And if you don't know what a Let's Work is, well, basically, you're going to start working. It's important. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers who's, one, not a reseller. God, there's a lot of those out there. And two, taking your time and offering you no value. But we're going to do both today, okay? I'm going to rob you of your time, but I'm also going to give you value. Because you're going to walk away today and you're going to say, you know what? I feel refreshed. I feel like I just took a shower in the rains of spring in the open air over at Yosemite. I feel cleansed from head to toe because not only did I put in my 2 hours worth of work with Jay, this one might even be longer than that. But you know what? He gave me some thoughts to digest on. He gave me some things to think about. Some things you know what I'm going to do? Next time I'm sitting down at the table and having a holiday meal with some friends and family, I'm going to bring up that notion that he suggested at an hour and 30 some odd minutes into the video, because you know what? That really got me thinking. Or maybe even it'll be stuck in your mind before you go to bed one day. You'll be like, man, I never really gave consideration to something in that way, but now that it's been put out there, my life has been profoundly changed forever. I do hope you understand that there's a certain level of facetiousness in what I'm saying. I've had people call me out. Yeah, you're far too damn cocky. You realize that? And I'm like, no. No one's ever told me that in my entire life. Not once. I'm actually downright offended that you would assume my cockiness. How dare you? How dare you, sir or ma'am? But the reality is, I've been crafting this art of deadpan for years, and it's, only through the mastery of the skill from those before me have been able to put on such great display for you now. I am the greatest YouTuber that's ever existed. You see how easy that was? Well, what are we doing here today? Well, you watched that last video, I hope, and to those of you who did, I say thank you. There's maybe about 100 of you? Oh man, I love it. Thank you to the 100 of you. You made my day. And those of you who commented, oh, thank you. You touched my heart in a way that you don't even understand. See, that's the opposite of deadpan. Okay, that's, of sarcasm, opposite of that. That is true, genuine sincerity. I guess it can be a little bit trickier to read without being able to see my face, but just use the example. I'm even wearing the same shirt right now. Just use the example of the guy walking around on screen as the expression that I have right now. He seems honest and sincere. But thank you to the 100 or so of you who viewed. It was really touching. I got some questions sent in. We're going to take a peek at some of those questions here throughout this. Hopefully I can fit in all the audio. Just like the last one. The audio was recorded over the course of last one was a couple weeks. This one, the audio is going to be recorded over the course of a single week. Now, something you might not know is that other video and this video were recorded within a 48-hour period. I work a lot in 2 days, and it's really difficult to set up that camera every single time I'm doing something because guess what? It gets in the way of me working. It really does. But what am I doing right now, mind you? Is I'm working to put away all of this inventory. Now, I'll tell you, I could talk about this garage for... You might think I'm being facetious again. Some of you might, dare I say, might think I'm full of shit. But I could talk about this garage for 80 to 100 hours. because there's so many little things in here. So many weird optimizations I've made, so many cool items. I've got stories like you wouldn't believe. I have some friends who call me. They'll say, Jay, I'm having a rough day. Can you tell me a story? I'll say, sure. Pick any topic under the sun. I don't care what it is. And a story will come to mind. So I'm thinking about launching a second channel. Maybe doing some type of ASMR with my stories. Maybe something you can listen to before bed. Something a little bit more quiet. I think you know what? I might have the voice for it. I might even have the acumen for it. Who knows? Who knows? And you got to be a bit cocky, right? To think that you're not only is your own voice a good voice, but that the content of what you have to say is something worth listening to. But you're so damn good that your voice is soothing enough to lull people to sleep. Oh, man. The audacity. But what am I doing? I'm putting the inventory away. So in the last video, every time I would get through a whole bunch of items, I would bin them up and I'd bring them downstairs, and I was walking them into this room. This is where they were coming. And I would line them up here on the table. And the table contains all of my inventory that I'm working on actively. And usually what I'll do is I'll lay it all out and it'll stay there for about a week or two. And the reason is if something's just listed, I really don't want to make space on my inventory shelves. And you can't tell, there's probably about 40 of them in this garage. 40. 40. There's a lot of shelves back here. Because if it's going to sell, I don't want to make the space. I just want to be able to grab it from one of the bins. But sometimes when I really need the space, I'll go ahead and shuffle it around. And we got a big overhaul that's going to be happening here in this garage soon too. Because the shelves are tight. And we have the audit coming up. All I need is just one person to say in the comments, Jay, what the hell is an inventory audit? Because I'll tell you right now, it is probably the most valuable piece of information that I can give you for your store to increase your revenue and your sell-through and your profitability and resolve inventory issues. Because we're all having inventory issues. No one in this industry says, oh, I have more space than I could possibly use. Okay, it doesn't happen that way. Unless you married a millionaire and you're doing this for sport. Okay? It doesn't happen that way. So we talk about some creative ways to condense your inventory and creative ways to move out old inventory, make some more space, and also how to find unlisted inventory in your shelves and how to find listed inventory that isn't in your shelves or your closet or under the bed or in a shed or a storage unit or your neighbor's pantry, wherever you got to keep your items. Your smoke-free, pet-free home, right? Right? That's what we all have. So I'll kick this garage door open because we are in a California winter, which means we get down to a very, very, very chilly 35 degrees. You know what's crazy? I know I recorded this right now, but I could hear your eyes rolling when I said 35 degrees. It's like a swishing, clicking sound as I said it. But yeah, we get a little bit of a cold one. And I'll open up the door just to let out all that cold winter air. And my bedroom sits directly above this. So opening up that garage door for 10 minutes each day and letting the 40 degree temperature out and the 60 degree temperature in probably saves me about $5 every day just in heating and cooling cost. And those of you who don't know, it's very expensive to run the electric out here in California. A moderate home will be a couple $100 a month. But here I go rambling again. So I'm getting all my inventory placed. And then from here, after everything's placed, we're going to go do listing. And you're going to get a really, really neat view of me doing my listing. And I don't know what other YouTubers do. This is going to sound crazy because I can't watch their content. It's so bad. And I'm not talking all YouTubers. I've got 100 plus YouTubers I'm subscribed to. I just can't watch any other resellers. I can't do it. I'm sorry. And you've heard me talk about this on air before. I just can't do it. And it's because I just don't there's so many of them who don't know what they're talking about. Or so many of them who just don't want to try to put out a good video. So I'm not subscribed to any of them. You know, the only guy who I subscribe to ever was Corey Barlow. That guy was fun. I'll tell you right now, the European YouTubers that do reselling, they have a lot of fun. They're groovy guys, and they're sharp. They're fun. So, but the American ones, I have a hard time with them. So I don't know if anyone's done this. I don't know if anyone's done these Let's Works. Somebody told me there's something similar, but I'm going in a different direction. But yeah, you're going to get to see my computer while I'm listing, which I think is neat. You get to see my workflow and how I go about it. And you're going to get to see the color grading process. I don't know if it's in real time or if it's fast forward, but you're going to get to see it all. It's pretty damn neat, if I must say so myself. It's very unique. Also, don't buy Skechers Shape-Ups. That's a cash trap. Those bad boys shrink. That or women think that they have smaller feet than they actually do, which wouldn't be very shocking if I'm being completely honest. I think every woman thinks that they have a size 6, am I right? Where are my no-mammers at? But we're almost done in here. Here, you want to see something really funny? I think this is where Daniel comes in and struggles with the box. Yeah, there he is. That boy's learning how to drive right now, and that's been hilarious. Look at him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 tries. You gotta rewrap that bad boy. Can't use that Amazon bag. Wrap. Double wrap. Tuck fold. Get that bad boy in there. There we go. And on his merry way. Okay, guys. If you haven't started so yet, let's get to listing. Let's do this. Let's start some work. I want you to get your workout in front of you, and yeah, we got a couple hours ahead of us. So yeah, you guys ready? Let's do it. Let's go. So every now and then I try and do the right thing, and it just doesn't work out the way I want it to. I think we've all experienced this at some point or another, where we can look at a situation, and maybe this harkens back to what I was just saying in the last video about how it's real easy to keep your mouth shut. It's very difficult to open it. I was even talking with someone close to me after that video came out, and I told her that it's borderline daring to open your mouth. You're taking on a certain level of risk. There's a certain level of unknown. How will the person respond, and will they get angry? Will they get upset, hostile, vengeful even? Will they have a panic attack or breakdown? Will they be spiteful? I guess these are all the negative end emotions, but on some level we hope that it's going to be a positive one. We hope that it's going to be met with thanks and appreciation and understanding. We also understand that it might be challenging. It might be a hard pill to swallow. But every now and then, you go into something with really, really good intentions. And you say, like, I'm doing this just like out of pure goodness. And there's no gain for you. You don't, in any direct sense, get a benefit from it. And here's the real kicker. You, in a direct sense, might not be hurting anyone. You could be saying something to someone that is only to the benefit of everyone else involved. And then that person can get upset. Let me give you the example. So I buy a lot of Vinylmations, and there's a client that I was working with who had a Park 1 red balloon chaser. It's a very iconic piece, one of the most valuable ever produced. He sent it to me with the understanding that it might not be real. And he says that I can view the item, inspect it, we can figure it out from there. He's already done some cash on delivery business with me before. We've probably done 3,000 or so in volume over the last I'd say 90 days. So we've exchanged a lot of money, and we've been very cordial throughout too, which is why I guess it's even more rattling to me, because I've taken great strides to try and better and more effectively communicate with people, to try and better understand their motivations and their sympathies, and especially, maybe not so much in my personal life, but especially when doing business with people. And I told him the day before, I'm like, yeah, it's like 99.9%, 99999% fake. Okay. Has all the telltale signs. It's missing the imprint on the inside of the head. It's missing the imprint on the post. The head itself is just really poorly done. It doesn't have the right weight. It doesn't have the right color. It doesn't have the correct finish for something that's a licensed Disney product. The imprints on the bottom are misaligned. It's just everything about it's wrong. You know, it's heavy, it's chunky, it's not a good piece. So today I message him. I still have yet to pay him for the rest of the orders, like $375. And so I message him and I say, hey, I used to own a game store, and when people would bring us fakes, we would destroy them. We'd break them. We'd either snap them in front of them, and if they refused to allow us to break them, we would mark them with a Sharpie as counterfeit. And it's not an easy thing to do. People aren't going to be very happy about that. But if you bring it to me with the intent to sell it, and it's fake, and I won't give you the amount of money that you're looking for, and sometimes we'd buy the fake, we'd tell them we'll buy it, but we're going to mark it, and we're going to keep it here as a reference piece. We have many reference pieces, so that way we can teach other people how to detect counterfeits. And because why? Because it's a benefit to the community. If I can teach other people how to detect counterfeits, it makes the entire collecting community, the one that you yourself were a part of, a better place. You know, it's better for everyone involved. I say, so, you know, we would destroy them, we'd Sharpie them, we'd do something to them. With your permission, I would like to destroy this figure. Now, mind you, if this was an authentic figure, it'd be worth $600 to $1,000 for a little 3-inch figure. I mean, this is about as premium as they come. And I've handled many of them. I've had them in my hands countless times. And he objects. He's very frustrated. I'll even read you the message, just because I really want to make sure I'm describing the situation correctly. I said, hey, insert name here. I used to own a game store, and when people would bring in fakes, we would destroy them or not offer to return them. I'd like to ask if I can destroy this piece to keep it from going into circulation, as it can only cause damage. I'd be happy to send a video or pics of it happening. It's a fair request, right? He responds, no, I want it back. I was going to keep it and not do anything with it until you asked to take a look at it. I did. I didn't have to tell you I had suspicions and could have tried to sell it to you. I am an honest guy, and I'm not trying to put it out there. These were the parameters that we agreed upon, and I'd like to keep it that way. I said I would have 100% caught it. I have images from 6 months ago when I had another authenticated. I'm happy to return it. I was asking as a courtesy to the community. Would you object to the word fake being added in Sharpie to the post, hidden from view until inspected? So basically, you can only see it when you pop the head off to check to see if it's real. It's the only time you would ever see it. It's just to offer an extra level of protection to anyone else that might come along next. Because the only reason somebody would come into my game store and sell me or attempt to sell me a fake game, especially a high-end, we're talking expensive ones here, guys. We're talking games that go for $500 to $1,000. Okay? You know, they buy the fake online, they pay $5-10 for it, and then they bring it to a game store and they hope they get some unsuspecting lackey working behind the counter. You picked the wrong one, buddy. Not this shop. Of all the shops in California you could have picked, you picked the wrong one. Today is not your day. I remember distinctly the time we had a Dino Peak come into our shop. I told the guy, no, this is fake. Where'd you get it? Oh, it was some guy at the swap meet. I'm like, you bought it at the swap meet? Really? How much you pay? I think it maybe like $50. You paid $50 for this game. How long did you get it? Oh, like a couple weeks back, and you want to sell it already? Yeah, I don't know about that. So, it's not often we get people doing that. And, the idling car out in front of the house is definitely another telltale indicator that this person might want to be getting in here, in and out really quick. It's not very often, too, that you'll get people that'll happily accept, $200 on a $1,000 game. You got something worth $1,000. These people want like $800. If you're lucky and they're hurting, they might come up at $600, and you might only want to pay $4.5. You're taking on all the risk. They're getting all the upside. They're getting paid today. So I ask him, like, hey, let me just write it on the post. Let's do that. And he says, and I say, and I include also, I'll pay the $375 less the $4 shipping to return it to you. It'll just cost me $4 to ship it back. Now, mind you, I've spent somewhere in the area of about $350 on shipping with this guy already over the last 90 days. We've had some very, very, very heavy boxes shipped in, and I paid 100% of the shipping cost to get them here. Okay? Because that's what the price of doing business. I'm the buyer. Okay? The items are coming to me, and I pay the shipping. So if he's receiving the item, it'd only be fair. At least that's my view. His response, whatever you want, man. Again, not part of the original deal. If I would have known, I would have never sent it. Really? And after you asked me to throw in those pictures, you were going to nickel and dime me for $4 shipping. Yeah, he threw in some matted pictures worth about $40, $60 on a good day, $100 if you can find the right person. Because he had them, didn't know what to do with them, and I asked. Closed mouth never gets fed. To which he happily obliged, as we have done $3,000 plus worth of business. Okay, so how do you respond in this situation, guys? What do you do? Now, this isn't some small part of my life. Okay, Vinylmations have probably been one of the most profitable entity in my life over the last 3 years. I make a ton of money on them. And I'm very well known and very well respected within this community as the guy you go to when you're ready to liquidate your collection. So it's very important that I keep up appearances. So I say, just tell me now. It's not a huge deal. It's not self-serving to me. I'm just trying to help the community. Not trying to nickel and dime you either. If anything, I've saved you a lot in fees, and I'm assuming end of year taxes as well. I'm just trying to do fair business. What do I mean by that? He didn't want to pay any fees on the money he received. So what do we do? So rather than me invoicing or being invoiced by him and paying him $3,000, which would have amounted to $300 worth of fees, is that right? $1,000 is no, I'm so sorry. $1,000 is what, $30 in fees? So it would have been $90 in fees to him. Okay. And because I'm so well known in the community, he sent me $3,000 worth of inventory without collecting a dime. Not 1 cent. I don't even know who you are. I know who I am, and I wouldn't suggest anyone do that. Even to me. Don't send me stuff without getting your money first. Over $90. Why do I say that? Okay, well, let's say you send me your stuff and I die in a car accident on the way to the bank. Who the hell are you going to call? Are you going to call the Facebook police and say, this guy owes me money? You got no one you can call. So even me, get your money first, guys. It's important. And gals. You got to be inclusionary, remember? Someone gave me some flack last episode. They said, I would have slit your throat if you didn't say that men were stubborn too. Oh, and I just busted up laughing. I was laying in bed like 9 o'clock at night and I saw that. I audibly laughed out loud. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Yes. Girls are stubborn. So are boys. And I told her, I'm like, try and get one of us to the emergency room. It's not happening. It's not happening. We do not want to go when we know we should. So what did I do from there? I paid him $375. I packed up his figure, and I'm going to pay the shipping on my end. It's going to be packed and tracked and in the mail. It'll be there probably by Monday. Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday because of the holidays. So what is the reason why somebody would want it back? Okay, it's not to display it. And the thing is, I've never met an honest person that's told me that they're an honest person. Think about that for a second. It's like when a guy says, I'm a really good guy. You're probably not. And I'm not saying that they don't exist when they do say that, but what I'm saying is that, good people don't have to convince other people that they're good people. Good people are hoping they're good people. Good people are striving to be considered good people. Good people have the sensibility to say, I hope I'm being perceived as a good person. I really hope that people enjoy me and my company. We have a certain level of anxiety that comes along with it. No matter how confident and capable we are, there's always that little grain of it, that little tidbit of just, really hoping that we're accepted within these certain situations and that we're well received, especially when you put yourself out there. When you're doing digital content, for instance, or whatever you might be doing, whatever business you might be running. So what is the reason that this honest guy wanted this back? And I hate casting assumptions. But if I was a betting man and I had to look at the entire situation, this isn't going to be a display piece. He's going to hope that somebody will buy it, under the premise that it might not be real, which is a true statement. I guess somebody might perceive it as real, but if you can sell it as might not be real, where else do we see this? Think about this for a second. Where else do we see people selling things as may or may not be? You see it on eBay. Might not work. See that often. May or may not work. Untested, possibly might not work. And it's a really scummy thing to do, and I'm very transparent about this. It's really, really scummy. Excuse me, guys, I'm phlegmy today. It is really, really scummy to test something, buy parts for something, realize it's not going to work, and then list it as might work, untested. Oh, that is disgusting. If you do that, shame on you. I really want you to think about that. Really think about your actions. I had a guy that I ran into at the swap meet. He had a calculator and a whole bunch of other reseller type items. The classic assortment of reseller goods. A little bit of Ray Dunn, a little bit of video games, a little bit of new old stock, calculators, handhelds, purses, like the classic spread. I look at him, I'm like, hey, you do reselling for a living by chance? Oh, no, none of that. Like you don't resell at all? No, I'm just selling some stuff, just doing a little yard sale, just selling stuff out here. Okay. You don't do any shows or anything? No. Okay, cool. I'm like, did you test this at all? He's like, nah, man, didn't even test it. Just a little calculator. It's like maybe $30 if it worked. I go home and the terminals have been cleaned. They look great. They're shiny even. And throw in some brand new batteries, and of course it doesn't work. Of course not. Of course it doesn't. And then I see the guy at a thrift store. I say nothing. And I see him at another swap meet buying. And another swap meet selling. And then just 2 weeks ago, he was at the same convention that I was at. Selling. Whole booth. Selling. Denying his culture. Denying his people. We are resellers. The amount of shame he must harbor for his profession. I can't believe it. It's not like he's going and refining uranium or anything. Okay? It's not like he's shoveling coal at the furnaces or anything. Okay? You're a freaking reseller. Take some pride in it. He's a closet reseller. He's afraid to come out of the reselling closet. That's what it is. It's nice out here. It's breezy. Okay? Come out of that closet. So why is this guy doing it? Well, he's going to sell it. I know he's going to sell it. There's nothing I can do about it. You know, I'd even buy it just to be able to destroy it, but I'm not going to pay more than like $40 for it. And I know he's not going to sell to me for 40 because he's going to find some rube who'll give him $200-300. And I get that. I get it. You know, there's people like that out there. Just don't be one of them, guys. I'm telling you. There's so many ways in life to get ahead right now. Opportunities are limitless. You can literally do anything. You know, I come and go and I walk away from this mic throughout the day now. I think I'm gonna try and come up with some type of structure, but if I don't get to it in this video, I probably will. It'll come up. Yeah, it'll come up. I'm gonna tell you guys a secret that I haven't told anyone in group chat. No one knows. I applied to work at John's Incredible Pizza. And I even went to the interview. You're gonna be thinking, why, Jay? Why would you do such a thing? I'll tell you here in a bit. Let's get a little bit more work done, though. Okay. Let's get some work done. Let's get a good 2-hour session in together. And then we'll go from here and we'll take another break. Because it's important. We got to get our breaks in. Our breaks keep us sane. And take a satisfying break. We'll talk about that too. We'll talk about John's Incredible Pizza. And we'll talk about taking satisfying breaks. And if you've got any questions, I know I said this before, but feel free to send them at bolorama.com, BOLORAMA.com. Click on the little contact button down in the bottom corner. You can anonymously send me anything you want to send me. If you enjoy this, you want to send me a kind message, you want to have it read, I'll be happy to read it. If you want it to stay private, you want to send me something in secret, go and send that on over too. I'll be happy to take a peek at it. And you can also reach out to me on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/Bolorama, BOLORAMA. It's down in the description as well. We'll talk some more here in a bit. The idea that the quality, the consistency, the value of someone's voice or comment can somehow be weighed against the metric of the number of subscribers or followers that person has is a truly baffling idea to me. For what must be the... God, I don't even know how many times I've had somebody say it now. When making a critique or a comment on someone else, I get hit with the, what do you know? You only have 3,000 some odd subscribers and only get a couple hundred views per video. And I just sit back and I think to myself, how can you come to this notion that the value or factual nature of what I have to say is somehow weighed against the number of people who choose to continue to listen to what I have to say willingly? I see a lot of really bad content, specifically reseller content, horrible stuff, horrible advice. And you already know who I'm talking about. Just really, really bad stuff that can do damage to your stores. And then people will continue to listen to them because of maybe the subscriber count, or maybe they just like the person. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe the advice in some offhand way has actually worked for them, and great. But to be told that your opinion or your critique or your thoughts are any less factual based on the number of people who agree with you relative to the number that somebody else agrees with. One person has 1 million subscribers and you have 3,000, so there's no way that you know what you're talking about. This time it was on the topic of CPM, cost per million, the revenue earned on 1 million views on a video. A lot of people don't know this. Take Bearded Picker, for instance. His video that went viral through Hip Hop Star, World Hip Hop Star, of him going and buying up Millennial Monopoly or whatever it was. He got like 3 million views. And those of you who don't know, for an average CPM, without going into detail, he made like $30,000 on those 3 million views. Now, is there anything wrong with that? No, not at all. He put the work in. He recorded the video, he went out, he put the time in, he edited it together, he uploaded it, got his thumbnail put together, he did whatever he needed to do, and it got out there. And he made his money, and you know what? Bravo to him. I hold no ill feelings towards him. I'm proud of the guy, actually. Any reseller who can get that level of exposure and then do an honest job and make an honest buck, bravo. I tip my hat to you, Bearded Picker. I really do. You did something that a lot of us haven't. Not saying we can't, but we haven't. Okay. I don't know how many views it's up to now. I'm sure it's $50,000 worth of revenue at this point, and I'm happy for the guy. I genuinely mean that. But to say that I can't speak on the topic of what 1 million views is worth because I don't have a 1 million view video, that's just foolish. If I take a course on grading diamonds, or if I watch a bunch of content on grading diamonds, because I don't have a license to deal in diamonds, or because I'm not a certified diamond broker, does that mean that I can't speak on the topic of cut, clarity, carat? I can't talk on those things? Of course not. If I'm not a certified veterinarian, does that mean I can't talk about animal health? So I always find it really weird when people will use this argument that you can't speak on a certain topic. You see it with race too. You can't talk to me about what it's like to be a black man from the position of a white man. What do you mean I can't talk to you about race relations? I mean, I have a unique viewpoint as well, you know. We see it with the trans community, you know, when it comes to preferred pronouns. You can't speak to me because you're not oppressed. Well, you're not oppressed either. So I don't get what the point is. Now, not to say that some trans people aren't experiencing oppression. They certainly are. But the fact that they feel that mislabeling of genders unintentionally is somehow oppression is foolish. But neither here nor there. But yeah, I just got hit with one of those comments again this morning. It had to do with Goldshaw Farms. The guy makes incredible videos. He's a small-time farmer. He has a day job, and he does YouTube, and he gets great ad sponsors too. And he's very family-friendly content. And this guy's bringing in a lot of money. And he did a video the other day talking about how much money his farm earns. And, I asked him multiple times, and people were asking in the comments too, hey, why don't you talk about how much you're making on YouTube? And people are like, why is that anyone's business? I'm like, well, it kind of is, because it's almost disingenuous to say, hey, I'm a small-time farmer. Hey, I'm only making, X amount of dollars here on my farm, and give the idea that you're barely making it by, but you got your day job, so that's going to take care of you. And maybe that as a total on the outside looking in, you'd be like, well, between those two things, he's doing okay. He's going to make it. He's going to be fine. But, I hope for him to have more prosperity. And maybe you give your time and energy. Maybe you buy a t-shirt. Maybe go to one of his ad sponsors and you buy from one of the sponsors because you want to help the guy out. Maybe send him words of encouragement and you give your thoughts and energy towards him. Would the thoughts change for you if you knew that he made $1 million a year doing YouTube? On a certain level, people will listen to what I have to say because on some level I'm relatable. I'm not a millionaire. I'm like you in a way. We don't make a fortune. We make enough money. Some months are better than others. Some months are a little tight. Some months are a little bit good. Sometimes our savings look good. Sometimes our holdings look good. And sometimes they look really bad. And there's a certain level of relatability there. What if the person was a reseller and they only made $500 to $1,000 a month profit as a reseller, but their YouTube channel did $20,000 a month? Are they really there to be a reseller, or are they there to be a YouTube content creator and make money doing that? Is it disingenuous at that point? Because if I'm here, my intent is to help you be more profitable. If my intent is to help you be more productive, my intent isn't to become rich. Does that make me any better or worse of a person? Because the other person, maybe they're saying, okay, this is the path I'm going to take because it's going to allow me to pay for my family and my car and my other business, my non-reselling business. Maybe it helps me offset my taxes. Maybe it helps fund my daughter's college. Is the nobility, trying to do the right thing, does that outweigh it? What if the person who only makes $500 a month reselling but $20,000 a month doing YouTube videos, what if they donate $19,000 of that to homeless shelters every month? Does that make it any better? Does the destination of the money really change anything, or is it still disingenuous? What obligation do YouTubers have to tell people how much they're making? You want to know a disgusting truth? The last year of YouTube, I made less than $100 in ad revenue. Now what you're thinking, you're like, what? How is it so little? Well, one, I don't get a lot of views. That's for certain. And that's partly my own doing. And I'll own that, and I'll talk about that another time. I had a lot go on in life. The other part of it too is I don't run ads before my videos. I just don't do it. You're here to work. I'm not, and you'll notice there's no mid-roll ads in this video. There's nothing in between to slow down our workflow today. We're here to work, and we're here to make some money. So I won't interrupt your workflow with a 30-second ad spots for whiskey cat treats. It's not going to happen. But other people, their little 7-minute video might have 6 ad rolls in it. You'll spend just as much time watching ads, and if you got a 7-minute video and 6 minutes of it is to like, subscribe, tell a friend, and sign up for our $10 a month whatever program, and then 1 minute is actual content, and of which you might learn one new thing, what type of value have they given you to your time? I want to be a value-added proposition for you. I want you to walk away and say, wow, okay, that was interesting. I thought about some things I never thought about before. I'd like to listen to more of this. I hope he makes another one. I hope you walk away with that idea. If you do, then I've done my job. And if I haven't, you know what? Tell me, please, because that means I should probably be doing something else. And your critique, your honesty would mean more to me than your pat on the back. That's disingenuous. It would mean 1,000,000 times more to me if you tell me the truth and say, Jay, you know what? Hey, I hate to say it, but you're really not cut for this. You know what, Jay? You're the guy who smells in the room. I'm sorry, but you're the stinky one. Say, okay, you got me. I'll try something out. I'll maybe find a new direction in life. Maybe I'm just not good enough at this one, and that's okay. With every single competition ever, there's always somebody who finishes last. Always. And that person who finishes last has to make a really, really hard decision. Do I try again and hope to get at least second to last? I remember every competition I finished last in. I finished last in a lot of cross-country tours as a 5th grader. I had asthma, undiagnosed asthma. No one cared. Living here in the Central Valley. I was just a fat kid. Stories for another day, though. But sometimes we finish last. But I think overall, though, it's important to just be true to yourself. Be true to what you're doing. If you're going to make a YouTube channel with the intent of generating revenue, which he's even admitted, the way it's generated and created, he wants to make revenue. It's a profitable entity in his life. If you're going to make $1 million a year, and that's your largest money earner, I think it's disingenuous to talk about how much money the farm is making without at least bringing that up. Because you know why? If my reselling business is making $3,000 a month, and then I buy a $30,000 upgrade to my business, maybe I get a whole warehouse facility, or a whole build out, or a whole trailer, and I do a $30,000 upgrade, 10 months worth of gross revenue. That would be something that most resellers would not be able to pull the trigger on. And there'd be questions. How are you able to pull the trigger on that? And he's got a $150,000 tractor. Not many people can pull that off. Not many people can have as many animals, especially the ones that are not as profitable as this guy has, with the amount of barn and land that he has, or be able to deal with some of the challenges. Build in another thing. If you're going to build a shed from scratch because of the financial constraints, and you want to show as a farmer, you're roughing it. So you're building your shed from scratch as a temporary solution, when in reality, you can wave your wand and put up the $100,000 shed. That seems disingenuous. And you can say, hey, if you say just transparently, hey, I'm making $1 million a year doing YouTube. But the revenue I make from that, I keep separate from the revenue I do with my reselling business. I know many resellers out there who do this. I know gamblers who do this. I'm a former gambler. I've been clean from the slot for 30 days. I'm not a gambling addict by any means, but I'm clean from the slots right now. But I know resellers and gamblers alike who do this, where they'll say, the money I have for this is the money I have for this. The gambling budget is up, I got the money for it. If it's down, I just don't. The resellers who say, I resell, I flip, I buy. The money from reselling stays in reselling. I don't spend it on bills, I don't do anything else. I'm just building it up. Building up my inventory, building up my my expendable cash. That's where my money is. So if you was to go that direction, I'd feel a little better maybe. I don't necessarily feel, let me phrase that better. I would feel like he's being more honest to the people who consume his content. Because here's the thing, a lot of what we're talking about today has to do with honesty. A lot of it. You'd almost think there's like a chip on my shoulder or something. But I guess it's a bit of an overarching theme in my life right now. Honesty and transparency. The other part of the comment that really rubbed me, and I'm not angry. That's the thing about it. This is more commentary on the comment. Because my day isn't ruffled, and I'm not upset, and I'm not harboring any of this. Is that it really takes one to know one. You really do need to walk a mile in another man's shoes. Don't ever criticize a circus clown if you've never been a circus clown. Can you make commentary? Sure. Okay. We talked about this. If you're knowledgeable on the field and you've spent tons of time researching it, sure. If you're not, you probably shouldn't say anything. Maybe not at them. You want to have private talk like, hey, I really didn't think that circus clown did that great of a job. I don't know, his makeup just doesn't look as good as the makeup I've seen on other circus clowns. But don't go up to him and say, hey, I think you're a bad circus clown. His response would be, well, how do you know? Have you ever been a circus clown? Which is a very valid counterpoint. And to the people who criticize me about anything I've ever done on video, I always have to tell them, have you ever once recorded a video and edited it and put it online for the entire world to see? Have you ever knowingly stood in front of a camera, looked straight into it, and spoke? It's not easy. Those of you who don't know my earliest videos, I couldn't do it. It was me pushing items underneath of a camera and talking about them. Oh man, I still remember that setup and how wonky that was. Because I was embarrassed. I didn't have my confidence. I didn't have my inner me. The more I do this, the more I feel confident in what I'm saying. I feel like I can have these discussions with you. I'm finding a new level of confidence. But if you've never done it, don't criticize the person. It's hard. And I'll tell you, I don't care how old you are. If you're 12 or if you're 80, it's never too late to do it. Do it now. Do it today. You want to talk about a life-changing experience. New protein bonds are created within the mind whenever you experience something new. Whenever you engage in a new activity or challenge or something where you're really applying yourself. You want to feel some adrenaline. You want to feel some anxiety. You want to feel real. That's life. That's real right there. Is when you do something new and you feel uncomfortable. When you feel unsure and uncertain. And you get a little bit of the rattles and the shakes in your voice. That's when it gets a little bit real. That's life. Grab a camera and make a video. Make it a response video to this one. Take up the challenge. Post it to Bolorama. If you're not part of Bolorama yet, link in the description. Post it there. I'd love to see it. Talk to me about it, and I'll tell you what. Make one video, 30 to 60 seconds long, and talk to me about one item you got this week. Where you got it, why you bought it, what you hope to sell it for, and something you think that's neat about it. Really sell me this item. Make me want to buy this item. You know what? If you do good, you know what I'll do? I'll go buy the damn thing from you. I will. Because I'd love to see you do something new this week. Really challenge yourself. And you know what else you'll get? You'll get another superpower. A lot of people don't know this, okay? You pick up superpowers and you pick up new skills. This is a great one. You're going to get the ability to critique other people who make videos. We'll even get you a pin, just like the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Put it on your little vest go with all your other pins. I've got one that allows me to be an asshole online. It's bright, it's shiny, it's almost blinding. Oh man. But yeah, I found it very funny. This week I criticized everyone at once. I put up a post. I'll put it up on the screen for you right now, saying basically, if your timelines don't look like this, you're not editing videos, okay? If all you're doing is shooting a video single take and adding an intro and an outro, and that's it, you don't know how to make videos. Okay? You're not a video editor, you're not a video maker, you're not a movie maker, you're not doing that. You're not doing any of that. And it's not to say that their videos aren't videos, but don't conflate the two. You know, some of the stuff I make, that last video, here's what it looks like in timeline. I mean, that took 40 hours to make. That 2-hour video took 40 hours to make. And if you're going to make throwaway content, you're going to have a 10, 12-minute video that takes you 10 or 12 minutes to make. There's a big difference. And we're not the same. And I'm not saying I'm better than you. All I'm saying is we're not the same. Going through a drive-through car wash is not the same as getting a full hand detail done to your car. Sure, both are clean cars, okay? But there's a significant difference between the two. You know what happened after I put that post up? Shane Myers blocked me on Facebook. I didn't talk to him. I didn't message him about it. I didn't do none of that. He's a Rise and Grind picker. He just blocked me. And that's fine. That's fine. No harm, no foul. Okay? You know, we all make videos in different ways, and that's okay. That's okay. I just wanted to point out that there's a difference in what I do. And maybe it was a little bit self-congratulatory, and that's okay. I want to take pride in what I do. And I want others to see I take pride in what I do. And that's also okay. It's not cocky. It really isn't. I'm not coming out there and saying, look at me. Look how good I am. I'm saying, hey, I'm really proud of the work I've done. Look at this work. Okay. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it to make something that I'm proud of. I think that's the biggest transition, the biggest change. So I really want to make stuff that I'm proud of. I'm learning myself for the first time in my life. You know, I'm 36 and I feel like I'm sitting down at a table with myself and I'm getting to learn myself a bit. And I'm liking it a lot. We'll talk about that more later. I hope your work's going well for you. Hope your day is going well for you. Let's make some more money. It'll be important coming into next year. Let's make as much as we can. Let's make it happen. You guys ever browse Reddit and you see the r/, which basically means like the subfolder for this content? It's r/true off my chest. I guess what I'm doing here is a bit of a surmise of what's happened to me in the week or the month or whatever given period of time. Tales of my past, tales of my present, hopes for my future. It's turning more into a bit of a I guess a little bit of like a radio program in a sense where, you know, I play the role of disc jockey, entertainer, podcaster, whatever, drawing inspiration here, there, and everywhere. You know, Report of the Week has something similar. He does great work. Check him out if you haven't. But True Off My Chest is a place where people can go and they can like get off their chest things that are like really bothering them or things that they're dealing with on the day-to-day. And you know, you'll see nurses go there and they'll complain about the unvaccinated. Makes sense. You'll see teachers go there and you'll see them complain about unruly children. You'll see film critics go there and complain about the 10th iteration of Spider-Man that's just come out. But it's a place where people can go and they can express their thoughts and their beliefs and, you know, maybe face a little bit of flack or a little bit of pushback. But there's going to be people there that have open ears and they're going to be wanting to hear what the other person has to say and possibly lending some much welcome advice or sympathy or comfort to the person who's trying to get something off their chest. You know, and if it wasn't for my Reddit ban, maybe I would post there. That's an utter lie. I would never post to Reddit. Reddit is trash. But I'm having one of those off my chest type moments right now because I just dealt with one of the most difficult phone calls that I've had to deal with in what feels like months. It's almost comical. You can hear me laughing. It's comical with how difficult this 11-minute and 25-second phone call was with somebody that I've known for the better part of 20 years now. The premise is so simple. Where are we going to be meeting at? Yeah, where are we going to be meeting? We're set to hang out today. We had the day that we were going to hang out. I was under the original impression we were going to get together early in the day. And, you know, I guess being the decent person I'd like to believe that I am, I'm willing to onboard some of the accountability for some of this. Some, okay? Don't you dare put more than 49% of this onto me, though. It's not going to happen. But I'll take some. In the sense that I believe we were going to get together in the morning, as people do. As we get older, we get together earlier in the day. So I tell them, I'm like, hey, let's connect around 9 o'clock. This was yesterday's messaging. No, 9 o'clock won't work. No, I won't be able to get out there until at least 10:30 before I can even leave town. He lives an hour away from the target town. I live an hour away from the target town. So we're looking at least 11:30. Okay. No problem. So can we say 11:30? Well, I can't say for certain, but I can let you know tomorrow. Okay, I can wait a day to find out. You know, it's not like I have anxiety or OCD or just this deep, dark desire to have structure within my life. You know, it's fine. I'll wait 12 hours. It's not going to tear me apart or cause any turmoil internally, so that's fine. So, I talked with him this morning, and I'm like, hey, so where are we meeting at? And he's like, hey, let's meet at this coffee shop. His words, coffee shop. Shop. This is imperative. It's called like Top of the Morn. It's a well-known coffee shop in Tulare, and they are special because they have their own milk or what have you. They their own little dairy, and then they use that to make their coffees, and they look fine. And apparently the girls that work there are cute, so I've been told. You know, maybe we'll bat 1 out of 2. 2 out of 2 if we're lucky. Okay? If I had to make a pick, Jay at 36, you know what I want. That's right. A good cup of coffee. So, I look up the place online because obviously I got to figure out how to get there because my raging OCD. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly how long it's going to take so I can figure out exactly the absolute latest that I can leave here. So I pull it up online, and lo and behold, it's a drive-through shop. Now, I forgot to say this, though. I told him, like, hey, your time uncertainty is fine with me because I'll just bring a book. I'm still churning through this book, and I'll just sit down and I'll read. It's not a big deal. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. And he never told me that it was a drive-through joint. And I look online, there's no seating. There's no seating around there. So I'm like, hey, is this place a drive-through joint? I text him. He's like, yes. So where are we going to meet? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then he calls me because nothing says, I love you, like calling somebody after they text you. That is, to really show somebody. And I mean, I have my extrovert ways, like, hey, here I am, I'm talking to you now. I'm clearly extroverted on some level. But the introvert in me is screaming, do not call me. I don't want to talk to you yet. Do you know why I don't want to talk to him yet? Because we're not hanging out yet. And I'm going to have all this time to hang out with you and talk with you in person. But right now, guess what? I'm home. I'm in my comfy zone. I'm on my heated bed. Yes, you heard me right. It's as bougie as it can get. It has 10 different temperature settings. It's going to make Jay's top 10 list of 2021 favorite items. I'd love to give each and every one of you a heated mattress topper. If I was a millionaire, that'd be the first thing I'd do for the 100 of you that are listening to these, which I appreciate. So I didn't want him to call me. He calls me. And I'm like, where are we going to meet? He's like, oh, we can just meet around there. That's not going to work for me. You guys know this. I'm like, where though? Like, where are we going to meet? He's like, there's all kinds of parks around there. And just like, I'm like, if you think I'm like even rattled right now, you're going to be shocked too. Cause I'm cool. I'm like Jay, cool as a cucumber on the exterior, but on the inside, I'm like, I need clear and specific instructions. I'm driving from an hour away. Tell me where I'm going to meet you at. But on the outside, I'm like, it's 40 degrees outside, bud. Can we meet someplace? Can we just go somewhere? And I really wish I might be able to pull the recording. I know Google Voice, believe it or not, it actually saves all your phone calls. So I might be able to pull the phone call for you because that'd be great. But I'm like, yeah, dude, it's 40 degrees outside. He's like, oh, it's too cold for you. You're just like Kurt, one of our other friends. And I'm like, yeah, that's too cold for me, dude. I'm on a heated bed right now. I'm like, I'm as fickle about the temperature as they come. I don't climatize. I don't work outside much. I might hit the swap meet, but if I'm not, and he works outdoor security, all night. Yeah, you can handle the temperature better than I can, okay? I feel dainty in contrast. I know what you're thinking too. Some of you that are getting snow already. Oh, Jay can't handle the temperature. Let's flip in California, okay? We don't deal with the cold that much. And, this week it's 40 degrees and that's cold for us. And you know what I say to you, my retort? Okay. You don't deal with 115. You guys would be melted. You guys would be like turning bright red, walking to the mailbox and back. You'd have to put on some sunscreen. You're not going to make it. Probably bring an umbrella outside. Out of just sheer fear. Your SPF 50 wouldn't hold up. So I tell the guy, and I'm like, no. How about we meet downtown someplace? I told you the other day I wanted to hit some of those thrift stores. Why don't we just meet downtown? He says, I've already been through all those thrift stores. And we know as resellers, that's not a true statement. Okay. A thrift store on Monday is not the same as a thrift store on Tuesday. And I know these stores. These aren't bad stores. I've been to them a few times. There's 2 downtown. They're decent. Okay. They have a turnover rate probably 10 days. Okay. And enough of the inventory has been refreshed that'd be exciting for somebody. I know he hasn't been there within the last 10 days. I can tell you that right now. That has not happened. So I tell him, I'm like, it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Okay. You know what he responds with? Are we still going to the movies today? Excuse me? Yeah, I was talking with Kurt. Are we still going to the movies today? No, we are not going to the movies today. He's like, why is that? I'm like, I told Kurt I'm not going to go to the movies with him. And I'm going to switch my plans back to going to the movies with Daniel on Christmas Day. That's what we're going to do. We're going to see Matrix. Because, well, neither one of us got family here. And that's a story for another day. Okay. And if you're without family this holiday season, I feel for you. And maybe we'll talk about family in one of these future ones. But I'll be here for you. And feel free to send me a message. And if you want to talk to somebody on Christmas Day, you want to have a phone call, you know, if this video gets out in time, if you want to have a phone call after Christmas Day, let me know. We'll get on the phone. We'll chat. I don't think anyone should be alone during the holidays. So I'm here for you guys. So I tell him I tried to make plans with Kurt to go see the movies. And you know what he told me? Okay. He told me that he couldn't get I told him we got to get 3 tickets together. Okay. If all 3 of us are going to go, we got to get tickets together because you got to pre-reserve them because it's COVID and it's 2021 and it's in California. So you can't just walk into a movie theater. You got to buy your tickets in advance and you got to reserve them, and then you got to wear a mask for 2.5 hours while you watch a damn movie right now because Omicron, the safest virus that the world has ever seen, is apparently destroying movie theaters, ravaging them. That's another talk. But I tell him, I'm like, no. I tried to make plans with him. He was awake enough to tell me that he wanted to go to the movies, and then told me he was sleeping. Couldn't buy the tickets. I said, okay, well, I'm just going to go back to going with Daniel on Christmas Day. And he says, well, I might be busy on Christmas Day. But I didn't invite him. I didn't invite him to go with me on Christmas Day. That didn't happen. So I'm like, buddy, what are you talking about? We're going to the movies today. He's like, yeah. He came up to me yesterday and he said, yeah, we're gonna go see a movie at 1:00 today. I'm like, I never said that. He's like, well, that's just what I heard from him. That's just what I heard. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to the movies today. That's not happening. And I'm doing it out of principle. Okay. I'm just not going to let him decide how the day is going to go. He's not going to be controlling my time off. That's not happening. Okay. Or trying to undermine the time that I'm trying to spend with my friend. Because I made these plans with my buddy a week ago. He's a tag-along. And he's a grown adult, too, mind you. He's 55 years old. Okay? This isn't some kid who doesn't know any better. He's trying to hijack my plans. I'm just not going to have that. I only get so much time out of the house every week. You know, I work very hard. I want to make sure I enjoy it. So I tell him, okay, well, how's the day going to shape out then? What are we doing? Okay. He's like, well, you talked about wanting to go to that Mediterranean place. What's it called? I'm like, oh, it's called Simply Mediterranean. It's really good. He's like, oh, no, we got some of those in town. I'm like, no, they're different though. They're different. He's like, no, well, he's like, they're just not that great. I'm like, no, it's different. Okay? And mind you, this is all the same phone call. I'm like, they're different. Really good, you know. And I don't know what it is, and I don't know. I'm like, they're way different. This one's family owned. It's under the same name, but it's a completely different operation. They're reviewed much higher. And I'm like, they got like a 4.8, like on Google, which is like incredibly high for any dine-in place, especially pandemic, post-pandemic. That's where we're at, post-pandemic. I assure you, we are there. And he's like, oh, you can't trust those reviews. I'm like, dude, they got like 300 or 400 ratings. Okay. They're like as good as it gets. One of the highest rated restaurants in Central California. And you can eat there for $10. Delicious. If you haven't had Mediterranean food before, I suggest you find a great place. Get some falafel, get some hummus, get some pita, get some shawarma. Okay. If you're feeling like you want to get some lamb or chicken or beef shawarma, it's delicious. They make shawarma sandwiches too. Strongly recommend them. Something everyone should try at least once. It's real easy to get that out here on the West Coast. I don't know about everywhere else. So he's like, okay, fine. I'm like, okay. He's like, well, what are you going to be doing all day though? What are you talking about? He's like, well, you got those those plans tonight, right? And the original plan was that I was going to be seeing a friend from Fresno. Okay, I've known her for several years now. She's a paralegal, very, very deep into her work, and I'm like, yeah, no, we'll hang out, and I was gonna see her after, but I was gonna hang out with you for the day, but she just reached out to me this morning, and she turned out to be positive for COVID. She just got tested, and he goes, oh, there we go again, another woman using COVID to ghost a guy. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? It's like same thing just happened to Kurt. These women just lying about COVID so they can get out of seeing you. I was like, what are you talking about, dude? Are you really right now? I'm like, no, dude. She's just a friend. I've known her for a few years now. It's like, well, that's just what they do. I'm like, okay, and like I've known this guy for like 20 years now. And his views on women have started sliding for sure. We talked about relationships on the first episode that we did together, but there are some men out there who are getting really, really jaded about the dating scene. There's a phrase that's been tossed around for a little while now. They call it incels. And then and then you got femcells too, and there's a bunch of different words for it. For people who are really, I don't know, angry at the dating structure and angry at like the fling lifestyle and the expectations that women have and the expectations that men have. And anytime anything happens, if you have a date that gets shit canned for some reason, it's immediately, a woman just taking a stab at a man, or, utilizing their power over the situation. It's really hard to even like for me to fluently speak on this because I just can't understand the rationale. Maybe I'm sitting in a position of privilege. I consider myself to be an attractive male. But at the same time, I work hard too. I keep myself very clean. I keep myself well shaved, well kept. I get my regular haircuts. I think I have a decent hairstyle. It doesn't really translate well to radio, but I mean, don't I sound attractive? I'm kidding, guys. But that's the word of the day. I tell him like, no, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. We're just friends. I'm not even interested in doing anything with her, even if she offered. And she isn't blowing me off. She's busy, and she has a kid. She's a very busy person. She's one of the top at her law firm. She worked hard, studied the bar. She's done great. I'm really proud of her. Very impressed with her accomplishments in life. It's an expensive trade-off. We'll talk about that another time. And I'm like, well, what are we doing today then? How about, we'll hit the thrift stores. We'll find something fun to do. It's like, well, I don't know what Kurt wants to do. I know that I wanted to, and this is him speaking. He's like, I know I wanted to go to Visalia, which is maybe about 30 minutes away from the town we were going to. He's like, I was going to hit the cigar shop and then like some other place he mentioned too. So now we have a coffee shop I don't want to go to. Okay. And then I definitely don't want to go to a cigar shop because I don't smoke cigars and I don't want to hang out with people who smoke cigars. And then he mentioned like downtown, probably like get a drink, and I just don't drink midday. I don't do that. So there's now like 3 places I don't plan on going to because I'm not going to go to a drive-through for coffee. I don't care how good the coffee is. Okay. Let alone like drive an hour without any coffee in me to go get coffee. Because you have your coffee at noon, you're gonna be in the bathroom by 1. Okay, I'm not gonna be drinking some random coffee at noon. Okay, I'm gonna have my coffee at home. If I could sit down at a place and relax a cup of coffee and be able to read my book or something, sure. So I tell him, I'm like, you're going to do, when are you planning on doing that? Like, I don't know, like, sometime during the day. I'm like, when? Like, are you looking to do that midday? He's like, well, whenever we're done hanging out. Okay, what time are we looking to button things up? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know. I don't want to make plans. Okay, so I'm just assuming midday at this point, like 3 or something, maybe 4. But if they're going to go to a movie, because they might be going to a movie, so I'm like, well, what's going on with the movie then? He's like, I don't know. Kurt, he's still sleeping, so I don't know. I say, okay, well, can you find out? He's like, I'll let you know I'll let you know. I'm like, well, let me know, yeah. And I'm like, so do you want to meet at the Mediterranean place? We'll just meet there. Have you eaten yet? He's like, I can eat when you eat. And I'm like, okay, I haven't eaten yet, so I don't know if you want to like go there first, or if I should eat here first. I don't know. He's like, well, whenever you want to. I'm like, how about we meet there? He's like, well, we can meet there. We can meet anywhere. We can meet downtown even, wherever. I'm like, let's just meet there. He's like, wherever you want to meet is fine. I'm like, let's just meet there. Let's just do that. How does noon sound? Can we lock down noon? Because you told me you have other. He's like, oh, I can't tell you for sure. Oh, I can let you know when I leave there. Well, how long does it take you to get there? Okay. It's in South Tulare. How long does it take you to get there? He's like, well, it really depends on which road I take. I'm like, my God. If you are any more of a slippery salmon, you're going to fall through the rocks into the middle of the earth at this point. Like, I run on specifics, and I understand this whole new age idea of just going with the flow, and there are times when I can go with the flow, but when you're like an hour away and you're trying to make plans with somebody because you only got limited time, and apparently they're running the tightest timeline in the world, tell me where and tell me when. So he gives me this rundown on the different routes you can take. And he's like, oh, any way you cut it, though, it's about 50 minutes. Okay, great. Okay, it takes me 60 minutes to get from my house to the front door there. So go ahead and let me know when you leave, and then I'll be right behind you. Okay? He's like, well, I just don't know when it's going to be. I'm like, I don't need to know. What do you know? Just let me know when you leave. And let me know what Kurt's going to do. He's like, I just don't know. He's still sleeping. I'm like, just let me know. Just let me know. Okay? And this is all over the course of 11.5 minutes. And I've been telling you this story for 23 minutes now. And I know you're sitting on the edge of your seat to know what happened. I know you're just as riled up as I am, right? Is your OCD firing off? So I'm laying there in bed after that. I'm just thinking about all of this. I'm like, it's going to be an hour drive out there. I'm going to have lunch with him for an hour. Okay. And then he may or may not go to the movies. And then we may hang out for an hour or two doing thrifting, which he might not even want to do. And then he's going to leave to go do the Scars or whatever else, or go see a movie or what have you. And then my evening plans got fucking canceled. And then it's going to be an hour drive back home. So I sit there and I'm just thinking about it, and I'm stewing. And then I just messaged him and I said, I'm not leaving. I'm not going. I didn't say anything else. He responded back. He said, okay. And then I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder if he made it so difficult on purpose. Like, maybe that was just his way of telling me that he didn't want to. Because some people just can't tell you they don't want to do something. Some people they just don't have it in them to be able to like express disinterest in plans or wanting to hang out. And we've been on, what is the word, divergent? Convergent, divergent? We've been on paths that are going in different directions for quite a while now. And I told somebody the other day, and I'm not saying this is the scenario, or I'm not saying it's going to be like this, but, if you grow up with, if you grow up in a trailer park, for instance, and you end up being a millionaire through whatever means, hard work, what have you, it's going to be really hard to maintain friendships with people inside trailer parks. And I'm not saying he's poor, and I'm not saying I'm rich. What I'm saying is that sometimes people get so far away from each other in life and the directions that they're going. Like if you have one friend who's becomes a lawyer, paralegal, and they've got money, they've got success, they've got their things together, and they have a family. and they have kids, they have a partner, they have all these other things that they're doing. And you don't have a career, and you don't have family. The amount of overlap that you had growing up, as kids, we have those common overlaps. We go places together, we play video games together, chasing tail together, doing all those same things. But as you get older, those overlaps start becoming fewer and fewer. It doesn't shock me that people have less friends than when they were growing up, like those friends in particular. Obviously, you can make more friends in older life. I have some great older friends. I love them. More so than the ones I've had for a longer time. Honestly, because I connect better with them. So think about that scenario, the paralegal with the family. If she met another paralegal that also had a family, they're probably going to get along pretty damn well. They're in similar places in life right now. So, the same's true of the other end of the spectrum, the people that are in the trailer parks. Let's say you went from mediocre existence to trailer park life. Yeah, you're going to probably connect really well with the people at that level if that's where you're at. Maybe you were never meant to be at the other level. Who knows? But we connect better with people that share more of our values, we have more in common with, and maybe also the people that are going in the same direction as us in life. Doesn't necessarily need to be the same category, but the same direction. So I was laying there in bed, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, not only am I giving all of this time to somebody who I don't even think wants to really hang out today. I feel like it's almost an inconvenience to them. It's now certainly become an inconvenience to me. So, I've been struggling with this for a while now. Like, the smarter I get, like, the more I read, the more that I hold friends to a higher standard. I spoke in the last one about a friend that I was really struggling with. And, I go through this thinning process from time to time where I'll just basically cut people out of my lives. And it's not because I think they're bad people. It's just that when I have to work really hard to maintain a friendship with somebody, that's not a friendship. That isn't. And I owe them no obligation. I don't owe them my time. I don't owe them my company. And I don't feel bad about it either. Because it's not like I've been less of a friend. My phone's always on, round the clock. Anytime you want to hang out, you call me first and tell me you want to go someplace, I'm going to make the time for you. But increasingly, it seems like I'm always the one making the outbound calls. And, maybe that's a bit of a character flaw on my end. Maybe there's something I can work on myself. But it also could just be systemic of society today, that a lot of people just don't make the effort. They get wrapped up in relationships, they get wrapped up in their work, or they get wrapped up in school, and they don't try the same way anymore. And I'm sure COVID played into it too. I'm sure it's going to take a while to undo the damage that COVID caused. Man, am I worried about our youth. They are really fucked. Like, the amount of damage that's been done to them, it's going to take a lot to undo that. Especially the high schoolers, man. That junior year and senior year were some of the most shaping of my entire life. I really learned how to be more myself, how to be more open. I learned how to approach women. It was like a really good training ground for me. I learned how to approach and talk to women and build confidence and start building a bit of a social network that I was able to carry with me outside of school. And those who missed out on those, I guarantee you there's going to be studies on it. The people who missed out on their proms and their homecomings, Sadie Hawkins dance, those who didn't get to walk at graduation. Mark my word right now that we're going to look back on this in 10 or 20 years and we're going to see a significant bump in alcohol and substance abuse from that generation. Specifically those who would have graduated in 2000, 2020, 2019, maybe even 2021. We'll see a significant bump down the line from that. I don't know, guys. That's my true off my chest. I'll tell you, I feel better. I hope I didn't pass any misery or burden onto you, but I feel better. I feel like I got it out. It's been said. And this is how I this is how I tell stories to people throughout the day. I thought this time, rather than saving it for somebody that I know in real life, somebody will call me, or Daniel or whoever's passing by, and I give a shortened version of the story. I thought I would just grab the mic real quick and give you the long version. Today is December 22nd. Just as a log for myself, and maybe even a log for you, because you'll be curious when this happened. But we'll get a couple hours of audio together. I'll get this video up. It's up. It's up. If you're watching it, it's up. Which means I'm going to be working on the next one. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm really touched that you guys watched the last one. It was really awesome. I know the views were really low, but it seems like those of you who did watch it, you enjoyed it. So thank you for that. Thank you. My ramblings amounted to something. Now get back to work, guys. Let's make this one count. I don't know what it is. I just like that Yiddish little sound. Something about it. I mean, you can't be upset when you hear music like that. I mean, maybe if you're an anti-Semite, but I mean, as a whole, though, you got to enjoy that type of music. You got to enjoy the fun nature of it. You know, finding music for this has been very, very challenging because, you know, outside looking in, that's what I meant earlier when I said you got to walk a mile in our shoes. If you've never made a YouTube video, where do you go for music? Where do you find it? And it's not an easy question to answer. It's like, where do you learn how to edit? Where do you learn how to find music? How do you know which music you can use? Can you use it all? Do you have to tell somebody you're using it? What happens if somebody says that's their music? How do you deal with a DMCA claim? Did you know my original music that I used for Reseller Roundup got hit with a DMCA claim? So we pulled it. And then we found new music. I had to, on the fly, edit the intro with new music and retime it. And I didn't know much of what I was doing. That intro, I made it myself. I didn't hire anyone to do that. And it was hard. It took me, like 20 hours to make a 1-minute intro from scratch because I'd never done anything like that before in my life. Now, hindsight, I could go back and I could do that intro in maybe 15 minutes. That's part of the learning process. But I went and I found some new music that I was allowed to use. I'm like, okay, this is great. And mind you, the first 40 episodes of Reseller Roundup, where I was making money, I was told, nope, you can't use that music. So any money that you're making from that, you're going to have to give it to the recording company. I said, okay, well, those are a lost cause. Those are gone. I'll get a new one. So I found this great tutorial with some great music, and it's like, oh yeah, no, you can totally use this music, not a problem. And I used the music that was there. And turns out that I wasn't allowed to use that music either. And then the guy who thought that you could use the music didn't realize that the music wasn't actually allowed to be used. And this video had, damn near 1 million views. And I was one of many vitriolic comments that came back there and said, yo, I've just used this song for like 50 videos. I just used it on my intros. What the hell am I going to do now? It's pretty frustrating. So I lost all the revenue on those videos too. So this video, I probably spent a good 5 hours sourcing music. So that's why it's an amalgamation. We got some calm romance music. We got some really nice, like, aesthetic, cinematic music. We got some Yiddish. We got some jazz. We got some classical. And this is all music that I can use indefinitely. And some of it I've paid for. I know what you're thinking. You're like, you paid for music? Yeah, you gotta pay for it. And some of it I got for free. This one's by Ease Jammy Jams. I like it. It's chill. But that's why you won't hear any licensed music on YouTube anymore, because the DMCA claims. And, you might think, oh, it's not a big deal. No, it's illegal. It's a legal document being sent to you telling you to stop using the music. And if you want to continue using it, we're just going to take all your money. And on top of that, if you do it 3 times, we decide to ding you 3 times, then we're going to have your channel removed. And if you think that's insane, I used to do those really fun outros on Reseller Roundup. And, I would just snatch little clips here and there for like whatever I was trying to get done. And there was one where it was I don't know what it was, some children's show. Oh, it was Sesame Street, I think. And it was like Gonzo or somebody on there. And he's like, number 3. Count Dracula, I think is what it was. It's like, number 3. That 1.5 second clip. 1.5 second clip for a 2.5 hour show. They claim the entire video. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Jay, can't you just claim it back? No, it does not work that way. I appreciate the sentiment. It does not work that way. But I can't even get into the topic of copyright. So that kind of leaves us with the whole Patreon thing. And I'm not pitching you on Patreon. I'm actually a stone's throw away from canceling the whole damn thing at this point. it's not worth the money. It's not worth the effort. Even asking for it, running ads, none of it's worth it. So I've either got to pivot into a direction where I can make stuff that people are either willing to pay for, or I can generate enough views that the end roll ads and the on-screen ads, or even a sponsorship, might be enough to cover the cost of making it. Or I just have to keep making passion projects. Maybe somebody will like it. But I want to preface this next section. Somebody had commented to me and they said, Jay, that last video was like much more raw. And I'm like, you have no idea. Most of you don't know who I am in my day life. Most of you don't know how I converse with people. You don't know how much I cuss. You don't know my attitude. You don't know my real energy. You know the version I put out on YouTube. And that's with a lot of content creators. So I'm going to preface this next section by saying this was a real phone call that I had with somebody about a situation I was dealing with in life, and I was talking with him about some very serious things, almost in a mentor capacity, to try and help get him back on track. And with different people, I'm going to speak different ways. I'm not going to talk to, an 80-year-old grandma this way, because morals and values and respect your elders, and I'm going to be mindful for her. But when I'm talking to a peer who's my age, who might need a little bit of sense knocked into him, I'm going to be rough around the edges. So this is going to be the first time any of you have ever seen me this way. You can see me on the phone call now, but we're fast forwarding through it. And I'm just going to let you hear the tail end of it. But I must have been on the call for an hour. And I have a lot of this footage. I just sped it up just so I could fit it in this time. And you know what? I didn't get to the questions this week. So we're already at 2 hours, and I recorded this footage in advance. So I will talk about John's Incredible Pizza next time. I might do a standalone video on it. I might just do some shorter form stuff. 15-20 minute long ones that I can produce a little bit better. And then we also got a question in, great question. How do I get my partner involved in my reselling business if they have no interest in it? And I both have great answers and struggles with that I'd like to share with you all. So again, I'm warning you, if you don't want to have your pure image of me tainted, then don't watch the rest of the video. That's the honest to God truth. But this is the real me, and this is the direction I want to go. And I want to talk about relationships. I want to talk about being a man. I want to talk about sex. I want to talk about dynamics. I want to talk about things other than reselling. Okay? Because a reselling is only part of me. And I feel like the other 99% is just getting swept under the rug, as you can kind of get from these videos already. So, again, thanks for watching. And I want you to take a break after this video's over. Stretch your legs. Do some damn push-ups. Okay? Men out there, do some push-ups. Let's get on it. Okay? Only takes 10 seconds, 15 seconds to throw down a couple of push-ups, and your body will thank you. Thanks for watching. And if you like it, maybe we'll do another one. We'll see. We do. Fucking Nana goes through the fucking closet. Oh, fucking Bobby left all his shit here. He's off. He's married now. He's probably not going to need it anymore. I wouldn't mind going out on the town tonight, getting me some whiskey on the rocks. Call me up. You guys still buying video games? Yes, we are. How much you guys pay? As much as we can. Excuse me? The more we pay, the more we make. So I'd like to give you as much money as possible today. What do you got? And you hit them with all that, and it's just so much practice and so much repetition. Dude, valid. Very valid. Well, it puts you in a position of power immediately. Immediate power play. No, it's almost all Hard Knocks, man. I've only read like half a book on like motivational speaking and like working people and shit like that. A lot of it's just trial and error. What my advantage is? I'm really good at reading people. So like when I fuck up, I can tell immediately. When something doesn't work, I take that, I store it, I'm like, okay, don't do that one again. And some people, they're miserable at it. They never learn. I have a buddy who was here the other night, and you wouldn't fucking believe this. You would have kicked him out of your house immediately. Right away. And I've known this guy for like 5 years. Comes through the door, and he's like, oh, I thought you were going to be making like, all kinds of food. I thought you were going to have like a spread. I'm like, oh yeah, no, we got meatballs over there. I had like some spicy meatballs, and we got some cornbread cooking. He's like, oh man, if I would have known that, I would have just, stopped somewhere. I would have brought something. Fucking excuse me? I'm like, what? He's like, well, I just thought you were going to have like, like a big old thing. You said we were going to be like, I'm like, there's plenty of food. There's plenty of food. Okay? I'm like, I even got you the soda you like to drink. I got a 2-liter in the fridge for you. Okay? He's like, oh, I'm just saying, like, if I would have known. I'm like, well, known what? What do you want to know? And I even messaged him this morning, because he not only did that, he did a couple other little things. Because he's struggling with women right now. Between me and you, he told me he's gone on, like, serious dates he's told me 102 women in the last 5 years. Okay? Yeah, he keeps logs and everything, dude. And I told him, it is beyond struggling. And I told him this morning, I'm like, hey, if you want to have a man-to-man talk, and you need professional assistance. That's what you need. And I'm a professional, and I'm offering my fucking assistance. And I told him, I'm like, if you want to have a man-to-man talk about ways that we can both work to sharpen ourselves further, not just putting it on him, okay? And we can, we can make sure that we're not taking a victim role, and we understand that we're men who have a desire to be better. If you want to have those talks, I'd be more than happy to be there for you. But here's the thing, okay? I have a list of people now, okay? And I'm putting more people on it every single day when I try and help them. And I say, hey, motherfucker, okay? I know some things about this. Trust me. I'm good at this, whatever it might be. And I'm only good because I failed. I've made mistakes. And, sometimes, if you swing and... Dude, you have to, man. Because if you bat 10 out of 10, I hate to say it, you don't know what it's like to bat a bad one. You swing out. You don't have that reference of the failures. It's important to miss some. And, I have people now, they come to me and they're like, oh my God, you won't believe what I'm struggling with. I've got this problem, this and that. I'm like, man, that really sucks. And they're like, what would you do? And I'm like, I really couldn't tell you. And I know in my heart exactly what they should do. I'd give them the world's best advice. Dr. Phil would nod his head at everything I fucking said. But I can't help these people anymore because they don't want to be helped. They're not helping themselves. And dude, they come back to you like 6 months later, 3 months later, 6 weeks later, and they say, man, I'm still struggling with blankety blankety blank. Oh, did you do A, B, or C that I gave you? No, but no buts. No buts. You just said it right there yourself. Okay? That's what's going on right now. It's really amazing how people are capable of redefining what the bottom is until they die. And I you know what I mean? Because I've had my bottom. Yeah, I've had my bottom. I've slept on a park bench before, okay? And that's a pretty hard bottom. I've sold my own mattress before just to get a little bit of money, okay? That's bottom. And some people, they can't even fathom that idea. Now, I've got other people who have gone to that point and then they got comfortable outside, okay? And they made that their existence. They built the cardboard. They got the blanket from the Salvation, and yeah. And yeah. And then they start drinking, and then they maybe get drunk, and they get arrested for, drunk in public. Now they're in jail. And now that's their new fucking bottom. And then they get out, and they're like, oh, God, at least I'm not there anymore. And then they do it again. And then next time, they start doing crack, PCP, or meth, whatever it might be. And until they're blowing a homeless guy for $5, man. The bottom will continue to redefine itself until you decide that is your bottom. You have to decide that. You have to say, this is my bottom. I'm never going back there again. And some people can't do that. My buddy with his relationships, I know for an absolute fact that he is doing something like that. He is saying some underhanded comment, or he's doing like some backhanded statement, or some little thing in front of these women, and they're hearing that and they're like, oh, no, I'm not, no, my ex-husband belittled me like that, I'm not going to let you do it. And they might not be saying it out loud. Yeah. And he complains about a lot of things, like little nonsense. Like he was bitching that I didn't have any dark chocolate in my candy bowl. And I'm like, motherfucker, there's dark chocolate in there. I got a selection of candies from around the world right now, okay? Do a little bit of digging. Find yourself some dark chocolate, okay? All right. Well, that's keeping up with the Joneses. Honestly, there was some real jealousy there. No, not even, man. Just other guys. Just the boys. But he's one of those people, you know, he has to try and come out on top. You know? Yeah. I told my buddy, I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to invite him back to my house again. Like, I'll go over to his house, I'll eat his food, I'll be cordial.